Assalamu alaikum, guys. Peace and blessings. Once again, it's Salim Monique, and I want to just say I am super sorry I have not made a video in so long. And actually, what's been going on with me, I have a lot of health issues, and so I was actually in the hospital for almost a month. I was in the ICU, and it's just I'm better. I had surgery a few weeks ago, and I'm just healing right now. But and another thing is, you know, I take this channel very seriously, and I don't really talk until I feel inspired to talk, you know, until I feel like Allah has given me the ability to have an understanding of a situation or a subject. And so once I feel like I have clarity, then that is when I do come on. So I want to do more. I do have clarity on a few other issues, but I definitely wanted to talk about this issue today. So let's go ahead and get started. So I had a question for you guys. Okay, did you feel like when you when you became a Muslim, did you feel like you had to change your culture to like an Arab or Pakistani in order to be looked at as a Muslim in the sight of Allah and in the sight of other Muslims? Okay, and I want you to really think about that, because somebody had posted this today on Facebook, and that's what inspired me or moved me to do this video. And I had to ask myself that question: did I feel like I had to change my culture in order to be looked at or viewed as a Muslim, and not only among the Muslims but in the sight of Allah? And I have to say that I did. As a Sunni Muslim, as an African American Sunni Muslim coming into Islam, you know, new Muslim. I'm not going to even say Sunni yet, because at the time when I first became Muslim, I didn't know anything about the Sunnah, and I was just really letting Allah guide my dress. I felt like I had to cover my hair and stuff like that, but I didn't really feel like I had to look a certain way until I went to the masjid. And I think I was wearing something like this, like a shirt. I was wearing a pink sweater, and I think I had my I had a scarf on, something similar like this, but it was pink. Had on some blue jeans, and when I went in there, like, I was immediately like, "Oh, sister, you know, we got clothes for you. Like, if you don't have clothes, we know you're new." So they automatically, like, it was kind of pushed on me, like, you have to look like us. You can't be American in here. Even though in my heart I'm like, I'm here for Allah. I love Allah. But at the end of the day, like, you know, they had embraced me, and they told me, like, you know, I had to kind of change my dress, and I was like, okay. And because you're a new Muslim and you're in a new community, you're in a new environment, things are new. And I know for me as a new Muslim, I literally felt like I was a new baby, and that I had to learn a lot of things, and I had to relearn so much stuff. But in order for me to learn, which is so crazy, you know, you're trying to absorb everything as a new Muslim. And I really feel like that. Because you're like, wow, this is just amazing. When Allah lifts that veil, it's an amazing experience. But what a lot of new Muslims don't understand is that you don't need to absorb everything. Okay. And it can become overwhelming, and it can push a lot of new Muslims away, because now they're told you have to grow a beard, or you have to wear a kufi, or you got to wear this long abaya, and it's 95 degrees outside, and you have to cover your face. And I know for me personally, a lot of people, just to go back to my story, a lot of people started to give me gifts, and I'm thinking of it as a gift. But now I'm thinking of it was kind of like, I think it was kind of like too much. Like, you're forcing your cultural dress onto me. So, but at the time, I took it as they're giving me gifts. But in reality, when you take a step back and you grow and you realize, like, hey, I was being forced to dress like somebody who I was not, if that makes sense. So, you know, they gave me a lot of Pakistani clothes. I got a lot of Arab, like, abayas and stuff like that. Even got some niqabs in there covering, you know, for face coverings. Lots of hijabs, lots of different scarves and things like that. But one thing that I realized, you know, as I began dressing like them, and I mean, you can go back, I can show you guys a ton of pictures of me dressing in these garments, is that I did enjoy wearing Pakistani clothing. I love the shawal kameez and like the really pretty ones and stuff. I really do love those. And I found actually that I love to embrace other cultures and their dresses. But I think at first I felt like it was an obligation in order to be a Muslim. As I became Quran only focused and centered, I learned that it's not. You don't have to be dressed like other cultures in order to be considered a Muslim, especially in the sight of Allah. And I'm like, and I mean, not even with dress, like I know food was pushed onto me. Like, oh, you have to eat this lamb. I don't want to eat a lamb. I don't like lamb. But I would do it because I felt like, okay, they slaughtered this lamb. This is Islamic. I need to eat the lamb. And I mean, I don't know how many of you guys can relate to that. Or if new Muslims, if you're coming into the deen, if you're coming into Islam, and you're kind of like, you're feeling like torn, like, do I leave behind everything that I've ever known, my culture, you know, my dress, the food I'm eating, the things I'm doing, do I leave those behind? And I even, you know, it even goes as far as like, it was almost like when I became a Sunni Muslim, like my culture was stripped from me. It was like the American culture is the great shaitan. You can't, you shouldn't take anything from it, okay, at all. You should just come over to, you know, our Arabian or our Pakistani way of life, and you know, and that's their way. I'm not downing anybody's way, their way of dress, their way of eating, but I just feel like it is kind of pushed onto people as if this is a part of Islam, and it's not technically. Okay, it's not. And I mean, just it was. I dealt with a lot, but as I became Quran only focused, Allah started showing me that me as an individual is important, that my individuality is very important. Like He created me different from other people. He created me of a different nationality. He created me of a different race. I was born in a different or ethnicity. I don't even like using the word race and stuff like that. But I'm of a different ethnicity. I was born in a different region of the United States of America. So things are going to be different for me, you know? So I didn't have to adopt the Arabian way. He placed me in the middle of the United States as an African American woman. I have my own culture. I have my own things. And I mean, and then I don't have to leave behind my culture, you know, especially the good things that are within my culture. So, you know, I started to ask Him, show me how to dress. How should I dress? What do you want me to wear, Allah? He started to show me, like, you like these things, wear them. He has given us boundaries in the Quran, as you know, for the female. And, you know, about our dress. He tells us to cover our bosoms. We should cover our bottoms. We shouldn't, you know, stamp our heels or reveal things, you know, probably our boobs and stuff like that. We shouldn't reveal those things out in public, you know. But He never says you have to wear this specific looking Arab garment in order for me to accept you as a Muslim. And once I started to see and realize that, hey, I am an individual. Hey, I like my macaroni and cheese and my fried chicken and my greens and my yams, because this is what I grew up on. I grew up on soul food. I didn't grow up on hummus and lamb and rice, you know, although I like hummus and chicken and rice. I don't know about the lamb, you know, but I could realize, like, hey, this is who I am. I like music. I like R&B music. I like hip hop. I like, you know, different types of, you know, of music and different types of artists. And Allah gives us, He says, okay, stay away from vain talk. He didn't say that we couldn't listen to music. Okay. He doesn't mention that in the Quran, but He tells us, you know, stay away from this. So, you know, like vain talk. So there's some music out there we know is vain talk. Okay. It's ratchet. It's inappropriate. It's mumble rap. It's crazy. Okay. We know that we shouldn't be listening to that stuff because Allah says not to, but we know that there's music within our own cultures that are uplifting, that are motivational, that are healing, calming, relaxing, that are just gives you a good feeling, that is fun for you to dance to or whatever. So just don't want to lose my train of thought. So after becoming Quran only, I realized that as an individual, I didn't have to be stripped of my individuality. I could be a Muslim and still have things in my life that I love. And once I realized that, that is when I finally, started to embrace who I am. So now I choose not to wear the abayas. And I'll go more into that, that stuff later, because I actually feel like when you're being told, like, you have to look a certain way, you have to dress a certain way, I feel like it's a control. Number one, I feel like it's a manipulation tactic to get you to be brainwashed into thinking a certain way. And I don't agree with that. Number two, it's kind of like it's a form of idol worship. That's how I feel personally. It's a form of idol worship. When you are idolizing, oh, this is how you're supposed to be. Rather, it's the sister in the masjid who has on the, she has on the abaya and the niqab, and you're sitting there looking like, oh, I'm supposed to be dressed like her. Like it's a form of, I don't know. I feel like it's a form of idolatry. All right. I have to be dressed to look like this in order for, Allah to accept me. That's not what it's about, guys. And Allah accepts you as He looks in our hearts, and He tells us He tells us that the best garment of all is the garment of righteousness. And that's what the garment we're supposed to be walking out and wearing, and we need to ask Him to show us that garment, put that garment on us, to let us embrace that garment. And that's what it's all about. But I wanted to share this verse with you guys in case you are feeling that you have to be different, or that you have to drop your whole culture in order to be considered Muslim in the sight of Allah. And this is what you have been told, or this is how you have felt. Or if you're a new Muslim and you're kind of like just trying to figure out, like, who am I? Am I supposed to do this because this is what they told me? I'm telling you, no. You don't have to lose who you are. Allah created us all different. He made some of us white, black, brown, pink. I don't know. There's some pink people. I don't know if there's any blue people. But He made us female, male. He made some of us tall, short, skinny, bigger boned. Okay? He's made us all different. And we are in all different regions. Just think about it. If He wanted us all to wear the same types of clothes, He would have created a world where the weather was the same in every spot of the world. He could have made, okay, it's always going to be 54 degrees every single day on the whole planet. Like, the whole planet is 54 degrees, and that's the daily. And we all dress the same. We all look the same. And that's just amazing, because I just thought of that. Like, He created this world, and there's different climates. There are different storm systems. I mean, we had a major storm system here. So me wearing clothes, if we had this giant snowstorm here, me wearing the same clothes that I'm wearing in the snowstorm, and then I'll go to Miami, Florida, or I go to Hawaii, or I go to the Bahamas, which I just got back from, which was great. That wouldn't make any sense for me to go outside in a sweater and I'm in a different climate. The weather is a lot hotter. Or if I'm in the desert, I'm in the middle of the desert and there's a sandstorm and I need to cover my face to protect my face from getting ripped apart by sand particles, versus I'm in, Los Angeles where there's no sand flying around, okay? Or I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm from, okay? And I am walking around like I'm in the middle of a sandstorm. That would not make sense. Or if it's the middle of January and I'm walking around in a bikini and like I'm on South Beach in Miami. No, it doesn't make sense. Allah created us all different, and He created the planet in different temperatures and different environments, different weathers, different, just so many different elements and landscapes and landforms. And He gives us guidance, like, okay, no matter where you are, adopt, obey my limits, stay within my limits, but do you, just stay within the limits of what I have said. So it doesn't matter which continent you're on or what weather you're in, your boobs should not be out. That's what Allah says. And that makes sense. I could wear a nice long dress with no boobs out that's flowy if I'm in Miami. Or I could put on a nice bundled up sweater and keep them in a nice jacket and a scarf around my neck to keep them covered. Okay? But this is what Allah says, if that makes sense, okay? This is what Allah says. He says, "O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you people and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted." So it's not about, oh, she put on the niqab, she put on the gloves, she has on a hijab, or she doesn't have on a hijab, or she's wearing blue jeans and she's wearing a skirt, or she has on this, or he has on a kufi and he has on shorts, he has on Timbs and he has on Jordans. It's not about that. Allah is telling us He made us different so that we could know each other. So that means we're supposed to be embracing our culture, embracing the good within our culture. We can leave off the bad stuff, our celebration, everything. We can leave off the bad, but keep the good, okay? He's saying keep your culture. To me, this is what I'm getting from, okay? Be you. Do you. Enjoy your culture. Enjoy the people, your people, your kind that you are with. Enjoy them. Enjoy the food that you guys all like to eat. Enjoy your clothing, your dress. Stay within my limits. And know that your clothing doesn't matter. What matters is your righteousness. And stay within the limits. And a part of righteousness is obeying what Allah has already said in the Quran. So, just following the orders, but embracing yourself. And once you embrace who you truly are and you ask Allah to show you the creation, because He's your creator, so He knows the way that He knows you better than you know yourself. So ask Him for guidance, for help on that. How should I dress if you're aware? Some women, Allah tells us to be modest. Your modesty may look different from somebody else's. For me, sometimes I cover my hair, sometimes I don't. I do not wear the traditional Sunni hijab anymore. I used to, and I know on my prior videos I did, but this is a part of my growth as an individual and coming into my own individuality and staying within the limits of this beautiful deen. But I just wanted to share. I'm not going to rant too much anymore, okay? So I'm done. But I just wanted to share this video. I'm glad I'm back on. I'll be doing some more videos, inshallah. If you guys have questions, post them below. Love your comments. I see you guys. So sorry I've been gone. Just been a little sick. You guys have a great rest of your day. Assalamu alaikum. Talk to you soon.